So this is Jimmy Lyman. He's in his own zone. He is now dribbling it back and forth and finally gets it over to Charlie McSpirit. McSpirit right around the midfield circle. Sending the pass over to Kieran Coffey. Coffey started the game. He had him at halftime. Lonnie out with that ankle injury. He will hopefully be back next game. Listeners, we have a little mix-up right around midfield. A push on St. John's. The Connecticut's going to have a direct kick. The Huskies lead here. And Gardner Dow Field record of 13-2. St. John's holding a record of 3-10. St. John's right around midfield. Jimmy Lyman tipping one into the penalty area, looking for the header. Carlos shoots far front. It's Cosimo Cornolo, but it's kicked up and away by Dan Lazo, and it's controlled by the Connecticut Huskies. Huskies have the ball. Fraser DeBrito controlling. Now DeBrito fighting for it with Carlos Piedra-Hida. Piedra-Hida gets pushed, but down by DeBrito, and he'll take the direct kick. Takes the direct kick and throws it right out of bounds right next to Coach Joe Maroney, so it'll be a throw-in right in front of the Connecticut bench for the Husky team. This is Charlie McSpirit. McSpirit on the right side over to DeBrito. DeBrito lets it go by for Kieran Coffey. Coffey was not ready for it. It was stolen by Davis, but Coffey re-got it and took the ball, passing on the right side to Graziano Cornolo. Cornolo with some nice footwork. Pass out front to DeBrito. DeBrito sending a chip on the left side. No Husky there to gather it in. It goes over the goal line, and we're going to have a goal kick for the Redmen of St. John with 43 minutes and 38 seconds to go here in the game. St. John's goal kick. Our next broadcast will be this Tuesday, women's field hockey. The Wildcats of New Hampshire invading the Husky territory to play a home game versus the women's Husky team. That game airtime at 2:55 on the Sound Alternative. Our next football broadcast, as we just mentioned, next week, University of Massachusetts in a homecoming weekend extravaganza. 3 games broadcast on WHUS, one of those being the big UConn-UMass game. UMass coming off a big win over Boston University last week. The Huskies riding a 2-game winning streak. Connecticut controlling the ball here. This is Carlos left side, hitting the penalty area, trying to get around one St. John's man, centering one in front. Nice save by Tom McCormick as he was run into by Elvis Comrie unintentionally. When Comrie quickly pats McCormick on the back, apologizing to him. McCormick acknowledges it, and out with the ball on the left side to Robert Davis. Davis sending a pass up to Dan Lazo. Lazo connecting with Brian English, and English losing the ball to Charlie McSpirit. I believe that's the most passes St. John's put together in a row. Pass to right side to DeBrito, centering pass in front, cleared away nicely by Eddie Craker, the stopperback. For the Huskies, their 9th game, and they'll be taking on the near sideline, the right sideline. And DeBrito will be taking it, and they'll probably be taking his time getting this one to play. The Huskies with a set play. DeBrito sizing things up, left-footed, chipper right in front, looking for his Comrie header, but he goes over the cross. No, it doesn't. It goes the other way. It looked like it was going to go over the crossbar, but Robert Davis takes it as it went the other way as it was bouncing in the air, and Davis sends it back to his goalkeeper, Tom McCormick. And McCormick will start things up for St. John's. Remember, McCormick, the junior co-captain from Dublin, Ireland, has the flu today. He's not playing up to par. It's a very cold day to be playing with the flu. He's the co-captain along with Fred Bischoff. And Bischoff, the junior out of Forest Hills, is the all-time leading scorer, the co-captain of the team with 24 goals and 6 assists. But this game, he has been being hampered by a nagging leg and hip injury, and he has not seen much action so far today. Shot in front of the goal by Graziano Cornolo was out of bounds. And it's going to be a goal kick for St. John's. And we have a substitute in the game, Richard Campillo.
Number 23, Rich Campillo.
Campillo will be checking in. He was going to be coming out of the game. Number 13 is Zlatko Milkovic from Bayside, New York. A nice Russian name. And Fred Bischoff will be taking the direct kick, or the goal kick, and it's controlled by the Connecticut Huskies. This is Jim Dorsanio on the left side. Dorsanio trying to get around one St. John's player. Does so momentarily. Loose ball, and he sends a centering pass in front. What is DeBrito, and the goalie pouncing on it, Tom McCormick. But McCormick can't hold the ball before it goes over the goal line. It's going to be a direct kick for the Huskies on the far sideline. As Coach Joe Maroney shouting out instructions to his Husky team, and DeBrito setting up and lining up for the corner kick. Here's DeBrito's kick. It's a liner in front, looking for the other few Huskies. It's bouncing around loosely. Coffey takes a shot, but it's way off goals. He shanks it off his foot, and Coach Joe Maroney throwing his clipboard down on the ground. Not too happy with that one. But the Huskies do not come up with a goal. 40 minutes and 40 seconds to go here in the second half. Connecticut 2, St. John 0. A comfortable margin, as St. John's really being outplayed by the Huskies. First half statistics, Connecticut out shooting the Redmen 17-1. Connecticut controlling the ball. Elvis Comrie sending pass for Jim Dorsanio. He has a shot. Score! Dorsanio from Comrie. The second time that Dorsanio has scored a goal. And his third assist of the game for Elvis Comrie with 40 minutes and 23 seconds to go here in the contest. The score is Connecticut 3 and St. John's nothing. Dorsanio picking up his 3rd goal of the year. Elvis Comrie, a gorgeous pass, centering right in front of the penalty area, and it's right into the goal. UConn coming up with their first goal in the second half, And they now take the lead 3-0. Conley, with his third assist of the game, gives him 11 on the season. And the Huskies really rolling as a machine. And we'll see here.
Second of the game, scored by number 15, Jim
Rosario will now be looking for the hat trick. One more goal will give him that one.
15, Kieran Coffey.
And they're going to give Kieran Coffey an assist also. So Coffey and Conley taking an assist. Now shot in front. McCormick coming up with the save. And that's a nice play. McCormick came way out of the goal to get that one. Kieran Coffey picking up his second assist of the season for his second point. And the Huskies rolling on with a 3-0 lead. Coffey controlling the ball right around midfield. Shuffles a pass up to Pedro DeBrito. DeBrito controlling it right in front of the press box. Also right at the midfield line, sending it back to Tim Maisley. Maisley will start the offense from the Connecticut side of the field. Maisley passing the left side up to Jimmy Lyman. Lyman gets it over to Charlie McSpirit. McSpirit trying to shuffle one up to Elvis Comrie. And Comrie has to boot it all the way back to Maisley, where Connecticut will start it up once more. 39:30 to go in the game. Connecticut 3, St. John 0. Our next soccer broadcast will be this Wednesday at 2:25. Connecticut versus the Elis of Yale. As Huskies always are played tough by Yale every season, except usually when they play up here. So UConn has been dominating the last coming years. Here's Graciano Cornello deep in the St. John's zone, trying to get around Robert Davis. Goes to his left, sends it up to Kieran Coffey. Coffey now controlling the ball, chipping one in front. Lyman takes it, gets to the McSpirit. Shot on goal, goes over the crossbar. So Connecticut applying the pressure to the St. John's defense, but St. John's holding on this one. It'll be a goal kick for the Redmen, and taking it will be the goalie, Tom McCormick. McCormick, all-time leader in career shutouts with 7, allowed the fewest goals for a season for a St. John's goalkeeper. That was 8 in 1979, the first year of play in varsity season. And this is Charlie McSpirit heading the ball up. McSpirit not taking it off his foot, trying to get it up to Elvis Comrie, but intervening between them is a Redman. But McSpirit gets it back. Shot, score! McSpirit stole the ball back from the St. John's team. Nice and gracefully settled it down on his left foot and knocked it into the goal. That should be Charlie McSpirit, unassisted, with 38:29 to go here in the game, and the Huskies are just rolling up the points. That's 6:31 in official scoring. Charlie McSpirit picking up what I believe is his second goal of the season. And a very nice play. McSpirit was trying to get the ball to Comrie. He was broken up by a St. John's Redmond defender, but he stole it right back from him and just shot it into the lower left-hand side of the net. Connecticut 4, St. John 0. Connecticut controlling the ball on the kickoff. And this is Elvis Comrie kicking the ball back and forth. Comrie getting it back to McSpirit, who just scored that goal. McSpirit sending it up to Pedro DeBrito. They're going to give Lyman an assist on that one, which I really can't believe, since St. John's player did get control of the ball, but since Lyman's going to get that assist, we'll see how many it's going to be for him. For Jimmy, as I'm looking at my statistics, we'll have to pick up one assist. Oh, here it is. Jim Lyman's 7th assist on the season. So Lyman picks up an assist where I really didn't feel that he should have. But nonetheless, that's the official scoring. McSpirit from Lyman at 6:31 in the second period. Connecticut 4-0. Kieran Coffey controlling the ball. He's on the right side, entering the St. John's side of the field. Passes over to Pedro DeBrito. DeBrito, a chip on the right side for Carlos, but it's headed away by number 3, Eddie Craker. Craker heads it out of bounds. It'll be a throw-in for the Huskies, and Coffey will be taking it. Coffey gets it into Carlos, guarded by Davis. Centering pass in front, but it doesn't quite go in foot to the goal as it goes out of bounds first, and it'll be a goal kick for St. John's.
St. John's.
37-20 to go here
for the Redmen. Number 24,
in the game.
Neville Green.
We have a substitute, Neville Green, the junior from Bronx, New York, coming in for Brian English. English also a junior from Bronx, New York. Huskies with his throwing. Carlos gets the ball. Carlos trying to go in for Elvis Comrie, but it's run off the ball by Robert Moratti, and St. John's controlling the ball. This is Eddie Craker. Craker coming down the field, sending a pass to Andres Christodoulou on the right side over to Robert Trombosh, and they've connected with 3 or 4 passes in a row. Trombosh lets it back for Fred Bischoff. Bischoff, the second leading scorer on the team this year, takes the ball into a Connecticut Husky, who comes right off to Trombosh. Trombosh on the right side, kicking it into the penalty area. No Husky or St. John Redmond is there. Finally, Jim Renahan comes over and collects the ball in, and Renahan outlets it to Coffey on the right side.
Speaking of coffee, I just went out for a cup of coffee. What happened there? I missed a couple goals?
2 goals. Jim Dorsani, Charlie McSpirit eating the game up for the Huskies. It's pretty much out of line for St. John's. St. John's on the year, I don't even believe, has averaged much more than a goal a game. 16 goals in 13 games. So it would take a miracle for the Redmen to get back in this one since the Huskies are really dominating. Here's DeBrito right in front of the penalty area. Run off the ball by Moratti. And Moratti sends it up to teammate Tromposh. Tromposh dribbling the ball around, being guarded very tightly by Jimmy Lyman. Tromposh gets the ball between Lyman's legs, but Lyman comes up with the steal. Pass the ball on the right side to Rosanio, broken up by Cristodulo. Cristodulo controlling the ball for the Redmen. Sends a pass all the way back to McCormick. And McCormick, the goalie, bouncing the ball up once, twice, and now booting it way across midfield to see if St. John's can get something. Lyman comes up with a header, and Mesa settles the ball down. Jimmy Linehan playing his first game since North Carolina 2 weeks ago. He's in the goalie. He will probably be untested today, as Tony Pierce was untested in the first half. Controlling the ball, St. John's, and with it is Robert Moratti. Moratti's trying to send a pass up to Cristodulo, intercepted by Charlie McSpirit. McSpirit for Elvis Comrie. Comrie in front of the penalty area. Takes a shot, and it goes over everything. So it'll be a goal kick for St. John's.
St. John's goal kick.
And the Huskies not really substituting much at all here in the second half. They should be doing so fairly shortly. 35:05 to go in the contest. Connecticut 4, St. John 0. Harold Eric along with Mark Boudreau and Robin Darby. As this game is really a blower. The Huskies with a record of 13-2. And here's Graciano Cornolo right in front. Run off the ball. Cornolo gets repossession of the ball. Sends it past to McSpirit. McSpirit chips it in the penalty area. Here's Comrie, but he's knocked off the ball nicely by Fred Bischoff. It goes out of bounds, and I believe we're going to have a throw-in for Jim Dorsanio on the far sideline. Dorsanio gets it into Jimmy Lyman. Lyman settles it off his foot. Gets it over to Charlie McSpirit. McSpirit in front. Chipping one into Carlos. Carlos takes a shot on goal off the back of the St. John's defender. Loose in front. Carlos running for it. He gets a pass back to McSpirit. And McSpirit controlling for the Huskies. McSpirit on the right side for Coffey. Coffey over to Brubaker. Brubaker back to Coffey. The Huskies are retreating. They're looking to set something up. Coffey in the middle of Carlos. He lets it go right by, but there's no one there to pick it up. And Fred Bischoff takes the steal for St. John's. Bischoff gets it stolen by Carlos. Carlos left side to Graciano Cornolo. Cornolo in the penalty area, trying to get around one St. John's player. Centering pass in front, knocked away, back to Cornolo. Cornolo controlling it, sends it in the middle again, knocked away by Moratti. And Moratti gets it over to teammate Tromposh. And St. John's will bring the ball back the other way. 33-55 to go here in the contest. Connecticut controlling the ball. Brubaker centering a cross-field pass for Kieran Coffey. Coffey now kicking the ball into the St. John's area off the head of Elvis Comrie. Right side of DeBrito. DeBrito racing for it with Lazo. DeBrito beats the ball, beats Lazo, but the ball gets around Lazo. Now sends a centering pass for Comrie, but a nice play by McCormick to make the save as it just went a little bit too far out of the reach of Comrie. And McCormick was there to gather it up and in. And McCormick sends the boot out of the goal area, and McSpirit takes it off his head.
Getting set to check in the Husky lineup, number 21, Tommy Thompson.
Controlling the ball, John Brubaker for the Huskies. He's in his own zone. Gets it over to Tim Maisley. Maisley now sending a chipper into the St. John's zone, deep into the zone. And here is Elvis Comrie. Comrie racing forward with the ball is with Lazo. He wins the race, trying to send a centering pass, but Robert Moratti comes up with a steal, and Moratti coming downfield for the St. John's team. Moratti sending a pass to the left side to Robert Davis. Davis trying to get around McSpirit, having some difficulties. Retreats a little bit, and then sends a pass up for Neville Green. Green loses the ball to Coffey. Coffey sends a pass over to Carlos. Carlos, and the Huskies coming back the other way. Carlos looking for Comrie, intercepted by Bob Davis, and Robert Davis loses the ball to Carlos. And Cornolo comes up with it after all. Cornolo, right side over to Elvis Comrie. Comrie centering pass to Pedro DeBrito. DeBrito around one-man shot on goal. It's a right to the right. As it looked like he went on the angles. The goalie, Tom McCormick, looked to be out of play, but it's going to be a goal kick, and we have a substitute entering the game, Tom Thompson for Graciano Cornolo. Cornolo not doing much scoring today. He had a hat trick versus Brown in the big New England match on Friday. Here's the goal kick by McCormick. McCormick sends it up towards midfield. It's headed by Jimmy Lyman, now off the chest of Lyman, and Lyman controlling the ball for the Huskies. Lyman battling with Cristodulo. Cristodulo wins the battle and sends a pass to the right side to Tromposh. Tromposh crosses the middle of the field, gets a pass to the right side to Carlos Pedro Hida, and Pedro Hida not doing much at all today for scoring for the St. John's team. He leads the scores with 4 goals and 6 assists, sends a shot in the middle. No one's there to pick it up as it goes past the goal. And it's now rolling along the sideline right next to the goal line, and Carlos will gobble it up for the Connecticut Huskies. 31 minutes, 45 seconds to go. Connecticut up by 4 goals. It's a shutout, 4-0. Tom Thompson with the ball on the right side, sending it into the middle to Elvis Comrie. They're still on the Connecticut side of the field. Carlos gets a foot on it and sends it up to Charlie McSpirit as McSpirit enters the St. John's zone. This is John Brubaker controlling it around the midfield circle, left side over to DeBrito. DeBrito trying to see if he can set up some sort of play. Now slows the ball up and chips one in the left side looking for Elvis Comrie, but I believe Comrie's going to be be called for offsides, and indeed he is. Connecticut's third offsides of the day, and St. John's will have a indirect kick.
Getting set to check in the St. John's lineup, number 14, Steve Buckley, the sophomore out of the Bronx, New York.
They take the indirect kick and get it all the way back to the goalkeeper, Tom McCormick. McCormick this year entering the game averaged 2.11 goals against, but the Huskies scoring 4 goals against him, so his average is going to go up slightly. Neil Manfredi, the backup goalkeeper, played a little bit of the last game versus the Marist team and did allow 1 goal out of the 2. Right now, here's Pedro Rubino entering the penalty area. He takes a shot and goal off the back of a St. John's player. Tommy Thompson racing for the ball. He has it on the left side. Thompson chipping it in the middle. Coming out to make the save is Tom McCormick. And Elvis Conley on him, man for man, trying to give a little diversion to the goalkeeper, Tom McCormick, and McCormick boots the ball away. McCormick boots it boots it to the head of Charlie McSpirit. McSpirit gets it to John Brubaker, and Brubaker on the right side to Dorsanio. Dorsanio with 2 goals in the game so far, trying to get around Robert Davis, going to the right sideline, shipping one in front again, no one there to gobble it up. But Pedro DeBrito will get it on the left side of the penalty area. DeBrito chips one in front, and it goes over the goal. Goal kick for St. John's, and the substitute Steve Buckley will enter the game.
And we might get out of here on time to see a little baseball action. As baseball action will be underway. 4:25 today. Game number 5 of the World Series. As Harold, you still have life for your Yankees.
Let's go Dodgers.
For your Yankees to lose.
Double Green checks out of the game on that last goal call. This is a UConn's ball with the ball. Carlos streaking down the middle of the field, gets to the Comrie. Comrie upended, no call. Ball bouncing around loose, and coming up with it is Dan Lazo. Lazo sending it out for teammate Carlos Piejahita, but beating him to the ball is Kieran Coffey, and Coffey sends it over to Brubaker. Brubaker in the middle to Pedro DeBrito. DeBrito, nice pass left side over to Jimmy Lyman. Lyman slowing it up, getting it around Tromposh. Now entering the penalty area. This is Lyman still controlling the ball. Now he's run off the ball and tripped in the play. No call. The ball goes out of bounds. And let's see what they're going to call it. I believe it has to be a corner kick.
Number 13, Ed Lynch.
They're going to call it a goal kick, and Lyman took a spill. There was no call. Substitute Eddie Lynch in for Tim Maisley.
Harold, I was reading this morning in a correction on what I've heard previous on the 3 rookie starters, and we'll get back to that in a second as actions intensifying down there.
It was intensifying for a moment. The ball goes over to touchline Connecticut with a throw-in.
Throw in for number 6, Carlos Carlos.
Carlos with the throw-in gets it into Kieran Coffey over to Charlie McSpirit. McSpirit is trying to set up some sort of play. Pass on the right side to Dorsanio. Dorsanio breaking in the penalty area. He lets it off for Elvis Conley. The ball goes out of bounds. Goal kick for St. John's. What were you going to say, Mark?
I was going to say, if we get lucky enough to see a Game 7, we'll see Mr. Righetti. We'll see Dave Righetti again, and probably Fernando Valenzuela. And it'll be interesting to see a second time around after all the jitters of the first time and the media pressure. Of course, Game 7 has its pressure of its own, but it might be interesting to see that. And
there's a whistle, and I believe 2 players colliding. Carlos along with Steve Buckley. It's going to be an obstruction called against St. John. The Huskies will have an indirect kick 3 yards outside of the right side of the penalty area. It goes into Pedro DeBrito on the indirect kick, but I believe we're going to have an offside violation on the Huskies, so it's going to be a direct kick for St. John's. Yesterday, the University of Connecticut football team victorious over Maine 31-10, giving the Huskies a 4-3 season record. Quarterback Ken Schweitzer passing for 193 yards, breaking the school record for total yardage. His total is now 4,184 against the old record of 4,160. And the undefeated Yale Eli's continued their drive, aiming for the Ivy League championship, downing Pennsylvania 24-3, a very tough Yale team. John Rogan led the offense, throwing 2 touchdown passes, running for a third, but Yale coach Carmen Koza applauded his defense for holding back any attempts at scoring, which he noted were not many. Huskies breaking deep in the zone, but it goes over the goal line. It'll be another goal kick for St. John's.
St. John's goal kick.
4-0 game right here. Whalers, of course, losing 7-3 last night versus the Calgary Flames. They're having all sorts of problems trying to get started in the Adams Division for the National Hockey League. Here's the goal kick, settled off the head of, I believe, John Brubaker, and that ball bouncing around loosely. Robert Davis going forward with Tom Thompson. Ball still bouncing around loose, and coming up with his Kieran Coffey. Coffey passing on the right side for Tom Thompson. It goes a little bit over his reach, and it'll be a throw-in for St. John's, and taking it will be Danny Lazo. Lazo gets it into Robert Davis. Davis having problems getting around 3 Huskies, and he passes it back to a teammate, and the ball is bouncing around loose, and coming up with it now is Jimmy Dorsanio. Dorsanio, left side to Charlie McSpirit. McSpirit breaking on the left side, gets the ball knocked away, controlled by Elvis Comrie. Comrie sending one in the middle, and it goes a shot wide to the right, and Elio Romero will check in the game for the Huskies. As a matter of fact, they're going to say it was an offside violation before it went out of bounds, so Romeo will stay along the sidelines as the ball never went over the goal line. Direct kick for St. John's. The goalkeeper, Tom McCormick, gets the ball back, and McCormick boots a little liner right around midfield. They'll be headed there, or off the chest of Charlie McSpirit. McSpirit will control for the Connecticut Huskies. McSpirit, left side over to Pedro DeBrito. DeBrito trying to get around Fred Bischoff. Does so, controlling it on the left side, trying to get into the penalty area. Chipper in front, looking for Comrie. Comrie throws it off his foot, shot wide to the left. And now we'll check into the game for the Connecticut team. Here's how the top 20 teams are. Let's go and release the top 5 teams for the Associated Press College Football Player Fair this week. Penn State defeated West Virginia 30-7. Pittsburgh over Syracuse 23-10. North Carolina losing to South Carolina 31-13. Clemson 7-0-0 beat North Carolina State 17-7. And Southern Cal over Notre Dame. Southern Cal had a record of 6-1 over Notre Dame by the score of 14-7. Jim Dorsano checking out during that last time out, getting himself a nice bit of applause for his 2 goals today. Huskies will have a corner kick as the ball goes out of bounds over the goal line. Romeo will take it with 25-20 to go here in the contest. Connecticut 4, St. John's 0. Here's Romeo's kick right in front of the area. It's knocked away by one St. John's player and cleared by Steve Buckley all the way out to the foot of Eddie Lynch, and Lynch will control for Connecticut. Lynch on the right side to Romeo. Romeo back to Lynch. Lynch looking for an opening in the St. John's defense. This is Charlie McSpirit with it right around midfield. Over to Jimmy Lyman. Lyman looking to enter the attacking third and does so by sending a pass to Tommy Thompson. Thompson on the left side of the field trying to get around one St. John's player. That's Robert Tramposh. Gets a pass over to Pedro DeBrito. DeBrito now battling with it with Tramposh. Ball goes out of bounds. Last touch by the St. John's player. And DeBrito will have the throw-in. DeBrito, nice throw-in. All the way to Elvis Comrie. Comrie battling with it with Richard Campillo. And now he tries to get around Campillo. He does so. Comrie went along the baseline. Trying to send it one in front. He still has the ball. Knocked away. Shot by Thompson. Loose in front still. Carlos going for a shot, but knocked away by St. John's, and Tramposh comes up with it, sends it all the way downfield for a speeding Fred Bischoff. Nope, let's check that. It's Carlos Piedrahita, and Piedrahita controlling for St. John's. Piedrahita one-on-one with John Brubaker. The Husky defense now retreating, and Piedrahita dribbling just a little bit too long, not going anywhere with it, and Tom Thompson runs him off the ball. Ball goes all the way back to Tramposh. Tramposh trying to send it into the penalty area, but Eddie Lynch is there. He clears it all the way down to Pedro DeBrito. I do not believe St. John's has had a shot here in the second half, and most of the game has been controlled in the St. John's area. DeBrito with the ball again in St. John's area, trying to get around Freddie Bischoff, sends the ball in the middle. Bischoff gets a foot on it, sends it all the way back to Jimmy Lyman. 23:52 to go here in the game. 4-0 Connecticut. Pass in the penalty area for Elvis Comrie. Comrie settles it down off his foot. Comrie looking to take the shot in front. Elio Romeo goes over everybody. And it'll be a goal kick for St. John's as we have a substitute.
Graziano Cornello checking into the Connecticut lineup, as is Brian Stevenson. And taking it off Elvis Comrie, number 11, and
replacing
Crosby will also sit out for a few minutes.
Controlling the ball is Carlos Piedrahita. Piedrahita on the right side over to Robert Tramposh as he enters the Connecticut zone. Tramposh one-on-one with Jimmy Lyman, having some problems getting around Lyman, going towards the middle of the field looking for Cristo Duro. The ball gets knocked away by a Connecticut player. Elio Romeo gets it all the way back to John Brubaker. So whenever St. John's gets deep in the Connecticut zone, the Husky defense just pounces on the ball and they take it away.
Little World Series trivia for you, Harold. Who are the other 2 pairs of pitchers since Valenzuela and Rigetti?
Bob Miller and Whitey Ford.
And name the other 2. There were 2 more that were rookies during in the World Series.
Give me a hint.
1967 was the year. Everybody was going back to 1950, but it was
Cardinals and the Red Sox, right?
Yeah.
Okay, it must be Jim Lomborg.
No.
Oh, okay, I'll try to get back to that one. Controlling the ball, Dan Lazo. Lazo gets it all the way back to Tom McCormick.
You had it, though. The Wiz kid, Bob Miller, and Whitey Ford for the Yankees in 1950.
Carlos, entering the penalty area, shot on goal, goes over everything. So it'll be another goal kick for St. John's. The Huskies really out shooting everybody.
Tim Meager will check back in for St. John's, number 10, and taking a
goal kick.
And we don't see a player leaving, and we'll have to wait and see who checks out.
This is number 9,
Ray Sadecki. Ray Sadecki,
this job checking out. No, it wasn't Ray Sadecki.
I keep trying. Elio Romeo controlling the ball for the Huskies. He sends it in the middle for Thompson, but it's cleared away by a St. John's player, controlled by Andrea Cristoduro. Husky gets a shot on goal, and it's a save by McCormick. In fact, I believe Christian Doolittle said back to the left. I wasn't sure. I didn't see a Husky there. All I saw was the ball going back. Nice save by McCormick on his own goal.
St. John's closest chance to a goal they've had all afternoon.
And the ball now passing around loosely. This is controlling it is John Brubaker. You still got me with that 1967 World Series.
I'm not going to tell you.
Boy, I'm going to have to keep on thinking. Stuff to broadcast and think at the same time. Graziano Cornolo controlling the ball. Gets it back to Lyman. Lyman getting around one St. John's player. Now he loses the ball to Cristo Dulo. And Cristo Dulo coming up the side. I love that name. He's from Athens, Greece. He's the only senior on the team. As a matter of fact, the report on him is he has to control his emotions for him to get anywhere with the team, as he's been known to pop off a little bit when things haven't gone his way. Mark.
Getting set to check in for the Huskies. Number 20, Roger Vernier, getting set at the next whistle.
Did Carl Yastrzemski pitch? No, just kidding. This is Carlos controlling the ball right around midfield. He's leading a Husky attack right side to Tommy Thompson. Thompson racing for the ball, trying to get around Robert Moratti. He does so, but the ball rolls around loosely, goes out of bounds. Last touch by the Connecticut Blue. Goal kick St. John.
I will tell you a rookie that did pitch in that series, although he wasn't the starter of the pair of starters. I'm talking about Kenny Brett. He was 19 years old. He was a starter for those 60. I know he pitched for the 67 Sox team in the series, but I don't know if he was a starter. But that's not the man I'm thinking of.
Roger Vernier is in for Jimmy Lyman. 67, Cardinals versus the Boston Red Sox. I'm not a Red Sox fan. I couldn't tell you. I'm trying to think of the Cardinals. I know it's not Bob Gibson. Crying out loud. Can't be him. Here's Carlos. Carlos going for the ball. Along with him is Steve Buckley. Ball settled down off the foot of Dan Lazo. Lazo coming up the field to the Connecticut side. Lazo controlling it for the St. John's team. DeBrito guarding him. Lazo on the left side for Bob Davis, but Davis was nowhere near the ball, and it's picked off by Brian Stevenson. Stevenson right side to Carlos. Carlos coming into the attacking third of the field for the Connecticut Huskies, trying to get around a couple of St. John's players, looking to pass to Tom Thompson, but it goes all the way to Charlie McSpirit. McSpirit left side over to Kieran Coffey. Coffey back over to McSpirit. McSpirit chipper in the middle, headed away by Lazo, controlled by Stevenson and Romeo, but coming off to run them both off the ball is Steve Buckley, and Buckley controlling for St. John's. Buckley now losing the ball to Stevenson. Stevenson on the right side looking to chip it into Thompson, but he goes between all of them. It goes all the way to the goalie, Tom McCormick, and McCormick will take it for the St. John's team.
In fact, that Red Sox pitcher is a Connecticut native.
Oh, boy, that's even worse. This is Charlie McSpirit controlling it for Connecticut. Sending it into Graziano Cornolo. Cornolo over to Carlos. Carlos chips it in for Tommy Thompson. Thompson loses the ball. McCormick comes out to make the save. And time running down, 19 minutes, 13 seconds to go here in the game. Connecticut 4, St. John 0. Dorsanio with 2 goals. Pedro DeBrito with 1, and Charlie McSpirit with 1. Ball bouncing around loosely. Coming up with it is number 14, Steve Buckley. Run off the ball by Graziano Cornolo. Ball goes out of bounds. Last touch by the Connecticut player. Matter of fact, before they were saying, it's going to say tripping against Cornolo, so it's going to be a direct kick for St. John's. Can I have his initials? This is Dan Lazo. Lazo sending it up the field for Steve Buckley. Buckley trying to get the ball into to a teammate, Robert Tramposh. Run off the ball by the Husky, and John Brubaker coming up with it. Brubaker getting tripped from behind by Carlos Piedra unintentionally.
And getting set to check back in the Husky lineup as the clock is stopped. We have an official timeout. Elvis Comrie checks into the Husky lineup. We have a yellow card being issued, I believe, to number 7, Pedro DeBrito.
No. Number 8 to Carlos Piedra for tripping.
That would make sense.
A lot more sense. Keep thinking baseball.
Well, in that case, we had 2 players walking away, and the referee is supposed to stop them and let them know.
Fred Bischoff.
And Bischoff's going to check in for Piedra, and Elvis Comrie is going to come in the game during this chance.
Substitution number 11.
The substitution is going to come in for, I believe, Pedro DeBrito, and that's exactly what it's going to be. Connecticut direct kick about 5 yards outside the midfield circle, and coming up will be Charlie McSpirit. He's going to look at a chip in front in the penalty area. They're all trying to get him off sides, but he can't do so. McSpirit chips it into Elvis Comrie. Ball bouncing around loosely. Coming up with his Bob Davis. Davis sends it back to his goalkeeper, McCormick, who can't control it. He goes over the goal line. It'll be a corner kick for the Connecticut team.
Right there, McCormick, I don't know if that was lazy goaltending. He just couldn't hold on to the ball, but he knocked it out of bounds. And so now he's going to have to play some tough defense, mark the back post, as the Huskies will have a near corner.
Wasn't Jim Lomborg, huh?
No, sir.
And here's Elvis Comrie with the corner kick, sending in the middle. It's Emil Romeo coming up with the header, but he knocks it out of bounds.
I believe Jimmy Lomborg was a rookie in '66, and then after '67 he had the big ski accident, and that sidelined him for that '68 season. He was never the same.
Okay, I'll give up. Who is it?
Well, I'll give you the Cardinals. I'll give you the Cardinals, Dick Hughes.
Oh, you never got that one. Never forgotten that one.
Okay, who's the Red Sox?
I can't tell you that one.
Oh, boy.
Suffer.
Robert Tramposh controlling the ball for the Redmen, trying to get a pass, and the teammate Richard Bischoff. Bischoff getting knocked down by Carlos. Carlos will get a push on him, and it'll be a direct kick for the St. John's team.
Checking in for the Huskies at the next whistle will be Sean Sullivan, and checking in for St. John's will be Neville Green, number 24.
And they're going to wait till the next whistle. Here's a direct kick by Moratti. Moratti sending it into the penalty area, headed away by McSpear, controlled by Vernes. Now he loses it to Christodoulou. Christodoulou controlling it, trying to get around a couple Huskies, still dribbling the ball around on the right sideline, and a couple Huskies still playing defense on him, and they just run him off the ball and steal it really easy. Controlling the ball is, now we're going to have a push on the play.
St. John's push.
And Connecticut's going to have the direct kick. 16 minutes, 48 seconds to go in the contest. Darak along with Mark Boudreau and Robin Tarby. And
Engineer Tom Bowen.
Engineer Tom Bowen, can't forget him doing a fine job. This is Elvis Conver entering the penalty area, or entering around the penalty area, takes a shot on goal, way out of reach of the goalkeeper, way out of the way. And
Sean Sullivan checks in, and Carlos will take a pass. Timmy Maisley back in for John Brubacher. And checking out for St. John's will be Robert Davis. Checking in is Neville Green. So we have them all.
Goal kick. And taking it down, McCormick. McCormick sells it right to the head of Roger Vernes. Connecticut controlling the ball. Ball around loose in front. And coming up with the steal, Tim Meegan. Meegan can't control for very long. Vernes comes up with it. We're going to have a push on Cornello, though, before Vernes got to the ball. That'll be a direct kick for St. John's. Clock running down, 15:57 to go. Our next broadcast this Tuesday, New Hampshire field hockey. The women's field hockey team going to be playing New Hampshire here in Storrs, Connecticut. Air time 2:55. After that, our next broadcast will be Wednesday. UConn men's soccer action versus the Elis of Yale. We'll have a doubleheader on Saturday. Women's field hockey at 9:55 versus Rutgers. And then at the WHUS sports page at 1 o'clock with the infamous team of Mark Boudreau and Tony Savino. And at 1:25, Tony Savino and Jeff Dobeck will take to the airwaves to bring you the biggest game of the season, the homecoming weekend game between the Huskies and the Minutemen of Massachusetts. That airtime, as we did say, 1:25. And, of course, our next soccer game after that will be next Sunday. UConn playing the Alabama A&M squad, who finished number 3 in the country, who was number 2 in the country for most of the season. But they ended up number 3 after their Final Four appearance. And they'll be going against the Huskies, and we'll see what the Huskies can do against them. They've been playing some fine soccer especially since the Brown game. Here's Sean Sullivan controlling it on the right side. Sullivan entering the attacking third of the field, getting around one St. John's player, trying to get into Graciano Cornell. It's knocked away, and racing for the ball is Pietro Hida, along with number 18, Brian Stevenson. Stevenson comes over with the ball, sends it into Graciano Cornell. Cornell into the middle, knocked away by Eddie Craker. Ball around loose, and coming up with is Sean Sullivan. Sullivan, right side to Elio Romeo. Romeo dribbling the ball once, dribbling the ball twice, sending it into the middle for Robert Moratti, the St. John's player, knocking it away, and he gets it up to teammate Christodoulou. Christodoulou loses it to the Huskies, and the Huskies just pouncing all over the St. John's players as they just keep controlling the ball at will. Here's Stevenson sending a centering pass in front. No one there. Moratti heading the ball away. Now coming over the ball is a St. John's player, but is quickly stolen by McSpear. Over to Cornello and right side to Elio Romeo. Romeo on the right side. Give and go back to Cornello. Cornello settles it down. Back to Romeo. Romeo around one St. John's player. Loose in front. And coming up with is Lazo. And Lazo sends it all the way back to goalkeeper Tom McCormick. And McCormick will start things up there for the St. John's Red team.
Getting set to check in for St. John's. Number 20, Brian English, and number 21, Keith Fitzpatrick, who we didn't have a number 4 earlier, but we have clarified that. Now the substitution's getting ready to check in.
Break on the right side for Robert Tramposh. Tramposh in the Husky zone, sending a pass in front. And what do you know? Jimmy Renahan makes his first save of the game. At least for him, the second shot on goal for St. John's, and for Renahan, his first save in 2 weeks. And it was a really tough one as he had to come almost 2 feet out of the goal and catch a high lob shot. And let me tell you, Jim Renahan seems to be right back ready for action here, especially after being tested by this St. John's Redmen team.
Boy.
2 shots on goal for the St. John's Redmen. Huskies 4-0, and they're just running all over the team. I believe this could possibly be the most goals scored on a St. John's team. And I believe, yes, it is. Huskies 4 goals. Shot, score! That's McCormick had it, and he lost it, and Tommy Thompson comes up with the goal. And what a play. McCormick had it in his hands, and as you were saying, he was playing a very lazy goalkeeper, and he just let it roll right into the net. And so that's exactly what he deserves. Connecticut 5, and St. John 0, and Tom Thompson really getting lucky on that one, putting the ball in the net.
They're going to say now the goal is going to be accredited to number 22, Sean Sullivan, and the assist will go to number 11, Elvis Comrie. And the official time on that one, I believe, 13:11. And Harold,
I'll stand corrected on that one then.
well, I stood corrected also.
31-49 official time. So Sullivan coming up with, I believe, his second goal of the season. Comrie with his 4th assist of the day and his 12th assist on the season. So Sullivan came up with that goal. I thought it was Tommy Thompson. He was running away very happy, but they're going to give it to Sullivan. Probably the easiest goal Sullivan's ever going to come up with in his career. 5-0 Connecticut.
At 31-49.
And Connecticut controlling the ball. Tim Maisley dribbling the ball, trying to get it up the field, but it's stolen by Eddie Craker. Craker gets it back to Jeff Dunn, who just checked into the game. Dunn over to Thukas Stavridaitis, who just checked into the game. The Huskies now sending in all of their substitutes for the last 14 minutes of the contest. Stevenson, right side to Romeo. Romeo gets a shot off. No matter if he gets a pass right side to Thukas Stavridaitis. Shot in front, punched away by McCormick.
And it was over by Thukas. As Billy Maroney told us at halftime, you got to get him from the side, and that's exactly what Thukas did. But McCormick making a nice play to punch it out.
I don't believe it was a very smart play by McCormick. I thought he could possibly have caught the ball. There was not that much traffic in the area. He punched it out instead of catching it, and that's how come he's down 5-0. He's not playing very well. Could be attributed to the flu. It could be attributed to just a bad game. Here's Elvis Converse sending the corner kick in front, controlled by Sean Sullivan. Sullivan trying to get the ball out to Vernes, but a whistle on the play, and they're going to say Sullivan did not save it before it went over the goal line. Maybe a goal kick for St. John.
There's also a very famous Yankee on that Cardinal team. Traded to the
right?
No, he was a very famous Yankee. Probably Yes, there you
now,
go.
who the heck is the damn pitcher? Here's McCormick sending. If anyone's just tuned in and wondering what we're talking about, there's 2 rookie pitcher combinations in 2 World Series before the Valenzuela and Righetti combination to start a World Series game, and I already mentioned one, Whitey Ford and Bob Miller. That was back in 1950, but the one in 1967 has eluded me. Dick Hughes is the player for St. Louis, and I don't know where the heck he is now. And I cannot think for the life of me who the Boston Red Sox pitcher was. And Mark is just going to tease me for
some of those famous Red Sox pitchers, too. I don't know how you could forget them. Jose Santiago, Brandon Bell, they had some great ones.
Darn, Red Sox fans getting me. Let's do some Met trivia. Here's Thukas Stavridaitis trying to get around one Dan Lazo. Can't do so, and the ball is stolen by Neville Green. Green sends it upfield for teammate P.H. Rahita, but it's stolen by Jeff Dunn, and Connecticut still controlling the ball at will. St. John's with only 2 shots on goal in all contests, 1 each half, so at least they're a little bit even in that statistic.
Well, the Met trivia can go on. You could have a book full of Met third base trivia. And
we've only had about 70. Here's Tim Maisley. Maisley up to Elvis Comrie. He's pushed off the ball by Neville Green. No call. Coming up with is Robert Piedranahita. Piedranahita on the left side for a racing Neville Green. Green racing for it with Brian Stevenson, and he beats Stevenson to the ball, but Stevenson wisely and easily steals the ball back from Green, and he's still playing with Green, and he gets around him and comes back the other way. So a nice play by Stevenson. Sends it up to Thukas Stavridaitis. 10 minutes and 5 seconds to go here in the game. 5-0 Huskies. Ball going up the field now, right around midfield. The Huskies lose it, and coming up with it is Piedranahita. Piedranahita sending it back to Cristo Dulo, back to Piedranahita. Piedranahita racing down the field, and there's a steal by Roger Vernes. Vernes sending it all the way back to goalkeeper Jim Renahan. I believe it's only the 3rd time Renahan has touched the ball all day. Remember, the game was started by Tony Pierce. Did a fine job in the first half. He'll get credited with the win. Jim Renahan coming off of a 2-week injury, playing for his first time here versus St. John's. Ball controlled by the Redmen, but they can't control very long. Goes out of bounds, and it'll be a throw-in for Connecticut.
As Jim Dorsano waits to check in alongside him, Jimmy Bant is checking in for the Redmen for the first time, and alongside him, Steve Buckley. So we have 3 people waiting for the next horn.
Thukas Stavridaitis with the ball on the right side, chipping it in the right side to Tommy Thompson. Thompson right along the baseline, sends one in front, and looking for the save is McCormick. He punches the ball away, and it's still loose on the left side now. Goes out of bounds. Last touch by St. John's. Good defensive play by Redmond. I believe that was credited to Keith Fitzpatrick. Connecticut controlling the ball. Maisley sending in the middle now, taken away by Moratti, the sophomore out of Garden City, New York. Moratti racing up the field with it, trying to send the pass up to a teammate, but there's not anybody there. And this looks to be a long afternoon for the St. John's team, and the Huskies just getting a little bit of practice.
Gary Waslewski. Would never have guessed it. I had to tell you sooner or later.
Where did he come from in Connecticut?
And that I'm not sure. I know he's a Connecticut. I should know that, but I don't want to say. I have a few guesses, but I wouldn't want to say and be incorrect. So I know he was a Connecticut native, and
You're not broadcasting the next game after that one. Johnson, back to Brian Stevenson, up for Elvis Comrie. Nice give and go. Here's Elio Romeo. Romeo dribbling the ball around, gets it back to Comrie. Comrie right side of the penalty area. He's coming close, sending a centering pass. Romeo shot off the back of a defender. This is Sullivan. Shot, score! Sullivan gets the rebound in his second goal of the game as the Huskies apply the pressure. It's 6-0 UConn, and it's embarrassment city for the St. John's team. Sullivan, third goal of the season, second of the game. And they're probably going to give an assist to a UConn player. Let's see who it's going to go to.
The official time on that goal, 39:47. And I believe they might give the assist on that to Ilya Romeo, but we'll have to wait and see.
It should be Romeo's. Nice play. Give and go. Romeo, nice pass in front.
It came right to Sullivan's foot, and I thought Romeo would have the scorcher on that one.
If Romeo is given the assist, we'll wait for the official score. That would be his fourth assist of the season.
And second of the game, scored by number 22, Sean Sullivan.
And it is given to Sullivan. Let's see who the assist is going to be. Yes, Ilya Romeo is fourth of the season.
Time 36 minutes.
At 36:47 is Mark always having problems subtracting. 36:47.
Right on the money.
6-0. And here's Tim Maisley controlling the ball for the Huskies. 7:48 to go in the contest. St. John's, even if they put all the shots in goal today, would still be losing by 4 goals. They've only taken 2 shots on goal. They're losing 6-0. The Huskies, with a good exhibition game, really, even though they're counting the standings, good practice game for them as they're playing some of the players who did not have a lot of experience, especially with some of the players who have a lot of experience, so they get a lot of combinations down. See who the players are going to be for tournament time in 2 or 3 weeks if the Huskies are there, which they should be. Thukas Stavridis with the ball on the right side, sending one into Dorsano, looking for the hat trick. Dorsano controlling the ball, run off the ball. Stavridis coming up with a shot, and that one bouncer, McCormick makes the save, but McCormick almost lost the ball with some English on it.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, McCormick played a pretty strong first half. The goals that went in, he had no chance for, but as this game wears on, McCormick looked shakier and shakier, and then he just waited for that ball to bounce to him, and I tell you, he's just taking some chances, and actually he looks like a very lazy tender.
That's a great observation. He looks like he is totally bored out there, and he's playing probably the worst goalie of his life. He's had the flu. That could possibly be it. I don't see why Coach William Clark just doesn't substitute for him. There really is no need for him to be in goal if he has the flu and is as sick as he is because he's doing terrible. Here's Stevenson with a break on the right side, cleared away by Lazo, and the ball is going to roll all the way out of bounds, throw in for Connecticut.
He may be giving some instructions as a goalie does to who should be marked where, and he might not be getting much satisfaction doing that because the defense hasn't been all that great in front of him, so that might be a rather depressing factor for him, and after a while you might just get sick and tired of it. Kieran Coffey checks in for the Huskies and taking I believe it was Timmy Maisley, and one observation, Maisley now has his hamstring untaped, so apparently he's doing just fine with it, and it was a slight pull before, but I guess Mr. Maisley is running 100%.
He said it was very slight, and he just wanted to have it on as a precautionary measure. And I guess he feels he could take it off, even though it is quite cold today. I'm not sure I would do that, especially in the middle of a game. Here's Thukas Stavridis in the right corner trying to dribble the ball around Robert Moratti. He gets the ball in the middle towards Dorsano. Dorsano has it knocked away, controlling it to Stevenson. Stevenson now tumbling with it with Robert Moratti. Both of them on the ground. Dangerous play called, I believe, and it's going to go against St. John's. And Connecticut will have the direct kick. Stevenson sending a centering pass in front. Dorsano looking for the header shot right to McCormick. So Dorsano looking for that hat trick.
He's playing super soccer. He's been playing well the last 2 or 3 games, and we mentioned that yesterday on the Athletic Supporter, and he's proven us right. At least one prediction has been proven right. Upcoming broadcast for the Huskies this Wednesday, they take on Yale University. Airtime for that one here on WHUS 2:25. Then next Sunday, Alabama A&M. Airtime for that one 12:55. Should be a good one. And after that, we travel down to Philadelphia, touchdown with Penn State. Penn State, a Friday night game. Airtime for that one, 7:25. And then the Sunday game against Philly Textile.
Roger Verne is controlling the ball, dribbling around a few St. John's players at his will. Now one player taking a spill for St. John's. I believe he was run into by Vernes, and I think they're going to give Vernes a yellow card, which he really doesn't deserve. And they are going to give him one, and it wasn't really his fault that he ran into that player. He was controlling the ball. And all of a sudden the St. John's player came up on him, but they're going to give him a yellow card.
Are they going to give it to Vernier or Kieran Coffey?
It's going to go to Coffey, so I'm going to check check that mistake. It really wasn't Vernay's fault. Maybe Coffee came up from behind. I really did not see that play.
The clock is stopped at 4:39 as the play is down. 4:39 left. The Huskies up by 2 field goals, make it 6-0. I was mentioning before Philly Textile, that game will be airtime 12:55. Darak and myself will bring you that action on a Sunday afternoon, hopefully a warm one from Philadelphia. And then we close out the regular season the following Saturday against Rhode Island away, and that's a morning game, 10:25 airtime. It's part of the WHUS doubleheader as we'll bring you UConn Rhode Island football action. That might be part of their homecoming, I believe, scheduling back-to-back. We'll have to wait and see on that.
That game was originally scheduled, at least the soccer game was originally scheduled for Friday afternoon around noon. They changed it to a Saturday game to make it, I don't know, a doubleheader. Maybe some special type
the UConn players.
Games over there in Rhode Island.
Autographs or anything else.
Huskies 6, St. John 0. It was 2-0 at halftime, then the Huskies decided to do some more scoring. Dorsanio picked up his second goal, McSpirit came up with his first of the game, and Sean Sullivan added 2 more. One of the most easiest goals of the season. He just chipped it into Tom McCormick. McCormick, the goalie, took it and kind of threw it in the net almost, and it made the score 5-0 at the time. Sullivan added another one at 6-0. That's where we stand. 4 minutes and 27 seconds to go here in the game. And Connecticut, who was dominated the whole contest, St. John's only taking 2 shots the whole game. 1 save for Jim Renahan. No saves for Tony Pierce, who started the game. Renahan is back and he's healthy, but we really wouldn't know it because the ball hasn't even gotten by him except for 1 time. Here's the break. Jeff Dunn sending the ball in the penalty area. But coming out to make the play is McCormick, and what do you know, he's starting to hustle here in the second half because he was doing quite badly there, letting a few goals go by him very easily. And St. John's controlling. This is Fred Bischoff. Bischoff sending it upfield for teammate Neville Green. Green losing it to Thuka Stavridaitis. Stavridaitis passing right side to Tom Thompson. Shot in front, and McCormick making another easy save. So McCormick now getting cheered for making these saves as he's already missed a few easy saves.
It's pretty obvious the Huskies will be 14-2 after today, and St. John's will fall to 3-11.
And if I'm not mistaken, 32 straight games and wins here in Gardner Dow Field in regular season.
Right now we have a player down, that being number 20, Brian English. We don't have a official whistle yet. We're waiting